Since 2019, we've been building mindset and purpose. For real estate agents, entrepreneurs, leaders, people becoming more than they were yesterday. Monday through Friday, we rise. We win the morning, we win the mind. Faith over fear, pressure into purpose. Confidence built through the work. Something good is gonna happen to me. Something good is gonna happen to me. I don't need all the answers, I just need belief. Becoming who I'm called to be. Making impact bigger than me. God first, doubt steps back. When it gets heavy, we figure it out. You're not here by accident. You're part of the story. Stepping strong, stepping faith. Let's get your mindset right.
She forgot the countdown one. She just went right into the song, but at least you're able to hear the song, Chris. That's the new song we created. He's saying his profanity words right now. He's saying all his profanity words out first. He wants to get it out while he's on mute. He's like, I'm going to be on mute first and then say my bad words.
All good.
Oh, now you're echoing.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep, now I got you.
Sweet. Seems like every week every time I do this, I do it on my computer. It just keeps blocking me, right? It keeps pausing, it keeps stopping. So we'll see if this works. I had it on my phone and here on my computer, but we're gonna run with it. So good morning, y'all. Thank you so much, Brock. That was a beautiful introduction for those of us that have been to those events. It just brings back that energy, right? Like that energy we got, what we learned from all the summits that you've done around the country that we've all been a part of. And it's so great. For those of you that haven't been to a summit, you got to come to the next one. They are amazing. Brock, as always, thank you for having me on the Morning Mindset Show. So super excited here to talk with everyone. So Brock, I know we like to do our theme at the top of the show. I know it was built into that song. I heard that in there. That was pretty cool. But let's go ahead and have everybody come off of mute, and we're going to do our morning mindset theme. Let me know if everyone's coming. Let's go. Let's come off of mute, and we're going to say something good is going
to happen to me.
Something good is going to happen to me.
Boom. Right? If you really listen to that message every morning, right? We're waking up with a bigger purpose. Yes, we're serving our family, we're serving the people around us, we're serving our community, but we're still serving God, right? And if we're aware of that when we do our work every day, He can flow through us and make way more impact than we can do on our own. So I definitely want to make sure that something good will happen through me, right? That's God flowing through you. That's the Savior, Jesus Christ, helping you love your community, love the people you serve. So you'll know when I podcast with Brock, I bring God into the mix. That's just who I am. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. But for the last several months that I've been running the podcast, we have been talking about the hand, okay? The hand that basically, what is it? What am I trying to say here now? No. Bear with me for a second here. The hand that feeds you, there it is. The hand that feeds you for realtors. So we've talked about building VIP relationships. For those of you who are on that, 40 VIP relationships, business professionals, divorce attorneys, CPAs, financial planners, mortgage professional, insurance people, you name it, building relationships that you can have reciprocal business with. We're not going to go over all those details, but we've talked about that on our first episode. Last month, we talked about having a database of 400 past clients and how to work that database. If you're new to the business, that's okay. You don't have to have 400 in your database, but we're going to build you there and you're going to work your sphere of influence instead of a database in the beginning. Today's topic, we're actually talking about social media, which represents the direction finger or the index finger. Okay. So now if you think about your index finger, okay, what do we do every day with our index finger? We point, right? It gives you direction. It gives the people around you direction. So the theme of the index finger or your pointer finger is going to be your social media, because your social media is what? It's your symbol of influence. It's your brand. It's what you're putting out to your community. So as people, what do they do with their pointer finger? I call it the Dead Sea Scroll, right? Dead Sea Scroll, right? Perhaps a funny scriptural reference, but what do people do, right? They're scrolling, they're clicking, they're pointing, and it's all about what they're paying attention to. And it's our jobs to figure out how can we get them, what are we putting out there that they can pay attention to? How are we influencing them? So we're talking about that, really the pointer finger today, which is social media. And I'll be the first to tell you, like Brock knows, he has seen my social media evolve over the last, well, I don't know, 3 or 4 years that we've known each other. Maybe it's been longer than that, right? I remember that first video that I put up on, it was the worst video ever. So raise your hand or throw a 5 in the chat. How many of you, your first social media video was awful? Can you relate to that? I think everybody can, right? You didn't know what to say. You didn't have music. You didn't have the words come up. You were just like fumbling, right? And so now, right, 3, 4, 5 years into me doing social media posts and videos, I've got kind of a better rhythm. I don't even think my videos are amazing, right? But they've gotten better. They've gotten better. So you have to remember, whatever it is you're doing, right, you've got to just keep doing it and continue to make little improvements over time. So anyway, so we're going to focus on right here. It's all about sort of being intentional about what we're posting and not impulsive. So we're going to talk a little bit about some mistakes that realtors make on social media, common mistakes. How many of you seen only the listing agent post every listing across America? And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see another one of this person's listings, right? So maybe being less transactional and a little more relational, right? So just be aware, that's a big mistake that we see on the real estate side. Another one is, I know this sounds crazy, overthinking your aesthetics. I have seen people like the color and my logo is just not quite right, and it's the way that it looks, and we spend 15 minutes, 30, and next thing you know, we got 2 hours into tweaking, right? But what are we doing? We're doing this. What are the average? What's the average seconds somebody seeing your post? 1, 2, 5. So if the color isn't perfect, it's gonna be okay, right? So don't overthink the aesthetics, but focus on clarity. What message are you providing? All right. Another mistake is trying to be everywhere instead of being consistently somewhere. I love it when I see somebody who just says, I'm the Lake Norman specialist. I'm the Lake Wiley specialist. I'm the Uptown condo specialist, right? It's not that those agents don't do business in other markets and do other types of properties, but you're trying to let the client on the other side of your social media connect to what you specialize in. What's your highest and best use? Where you're making your biggest dollars, right? And it's like, oh, right? Dee is the Lake Norman queen. I'm going to go to her when I list my property, right? Whatever that looks like as she throws her arms up, right? Raise the roof there, Dee. We like that. But you get the point, right? Sometimes we're trying to do everything and be everything, and then we maybe lose our messaging around what we specialize in. And then really the next one is forgetting that people follow people, not logos, right? So while your brand is important, meaning the logo and, team at this, at that, whatever that is, you want to project that they're working with you. You're human, you're easy to connect with, right? And you're the person that they want. You want to be that educator, not necessarily the salesperson. So those are typical mistakes that we see with social media in terms of what we get wrong about social media and maybe how we can make some slight pivots. It's about a conversation, not a billboard, right? It's showing up as a guide, as an educator, not a salesperson. So that's some of the mistakes that we see in social media. All right, y'all with me? Y'all with me? All right, perfect. All right, now we're going to talk about the 4 pillars, okay? 4 content pillars every realtor needs. So there's going to be 4 areas we're going to focus on here. If you got your pen out, this is what you need to know. The 4 areas are authority, humanity, social proof, and community. And I'll go through each one of those. Authority, humanity, social proof, and community. So as we're putting out our social media posts, authority content, right? This is going to be market updates, mortgage insight. I know some of you will take some of my posts and you'll repost them, right? Like, oh, this was a great interest rate update, right? It's going to be neighborhood information, neighborhood breakdowns, stats, and details about what's happening in your community. You're really going to teach one thing on that authority post, what that content is about, and just keep it to that. Occasionally, I'll see realtors say, hey, did you know this new community just got approved in this section of town? Just bringing awareness. This is what it's going to bring, right? It's going to bring jobs. It's going to do this. It's going to do that to our community. It may bring a little traffic and more overcrowding on schools, but I'm educating you on what's happening. I am an authority. All right, so that's one of the 4 content pillars that every realtor needs. This one, humanity content, right? I don't do a great job at this. I need to do a better job at it, but it's just family moments, kind of behind the scenes, right? Like I'm on my way to this listing. I'm loading in the signs for the yard, right? I'm bringing some Windex in case I need to clean some windows. Whatever I got to do to get this listing is kind of behind the scenes. It's a little bit about your faith, right? It is okay to be faithful, whatever faith you are, whatever you believe, with your community, because people connect to that human side, right? So it might be, I'm struggling with this right now in my family, or I need prayer for. And I've seen a lot of you out, they ask for prayers for listings, for people you know, for family members, for yourself. And I think people can connect, right? Humanity is about how we connect with one another. So it's really just being yourself, sharing your story. People want to work with what? People they know, like, and trust. And they're going to get to know you if you're human. All right. Y'all with me? Yes, y'all with me. I see we got a lot of people on our call today. This is really great. All right. So the next pillar is going to be social proof. Who knows what social proof is? Third party validation, right? How many of y'all get reviews, right? I've seen a realtor that I work with, what she does is after closing, I typically go to my closings. We're there with the real estate agent, and she gets a video at closing right after giving the closing gift, and we get a video right then and there. She has a testimonial and a video. She pops out on social media. Hey, thank you so much. How do you feel about your experience working with my team? Right? Tell me about the house you just bought, whatever that might look like, right? It could be just any testimonial that you get. It could be a Google review, right? So you want to show that somebody else is validating your skill set, how you've added value. But what are we really trying to do? We're trying to show that we're not transactional, and that we've made a transformation. We've taken this person from an apartment to the American dream, owning a home. We've taken this retiree from a big house that was overloaded with stuff into a really cute retired home that's gorgeous and ready to live out the rest of their years. Whatever that looks, how did you transform the client that you worked with and made their dream come true? All right, that's your social proof. Testimonials.
Chris, can I
Yeah,
add one
jump in.
thing to that?
Yeah.
So how many of you on here want more Google reviews? Put a 5 in the chat if you want more Google reviews. I just want to see, maybe nobody else does. Maybe it's just me. I'm a little bit, I got that narcissistic trait that I like to hear about myself and how great I am, right?
Just
Right.
you.
So a lot of people want 5s, right, Chris? So what Chris said is exactly correct. Like that is the best, that is one of the greatest times to be able to do it. But I'm a little selfish where I want them more. And so what I do is, so I just got this expired listing. And when you have an expired listing, is it fair to say that they didn't sell their house? Their process, their goal didn't happen. And so what I do is soon as I get an expired listing and I just get their property up and running and listed, I say to them, would you mind writing me a Google review on our process and how we got your house up and running and the marketing that we did? Would you mind doing that a review? I give them exactly what it is that I want them to do before we even get to the closing, because is it fair to say, Chris, that sometimes the thing goes sideways, it doesn't really work out, you barely got through the finish line, and asking him for a Google review is like, I'm really not too sure if I'm going to get the right review for this.
Correct.
But if you do it throughout the process, like the other one I just went under contract with on my condo, I just sent her a review. We went under contract in 3 days. And I said, could you share with me a Google review on how you and your mom felt within 4 days of going under contract? Would you be able to do that? And guess what? They're like, Brock, we would be honored. We can't believe how fast this went and how easy this was. So this is a really good time that you can do Google reviews. And guess what? I'm going to ask him to do it again. And maybe I say, could you do me a Facebook review? And Chris knows this in his coaching program that he works with too, is, it's what people are talking about. And that's what you can leave. What's it? Stories of success or evidence of success. Right? And so there's different ways to say it on different time periods throughout the transaction that you can ask for Google reviews, because I had 4 Google reviews and I got pissed in all honesty. And I was like, I need more Google reviews because Google looks at that and combs it. And so I started being intentional. And if you go look at my Google reviews now, I have over 160 because I was very purposeful with my Google reviews and asking for it. So what Chris said here all is extremely important because people go look you up. They do it. And you want to have the credibility. So Chris, I just really want to emphasize that this was a very, very good point right here.
Perfect. Social proof. That's one of the 4 content pillars with your social media. So thank you, Brock. I appreciate that. And I think as you said, if there's a pinnacle moment where you're feeling like they are just loving you, that is the best time to do it. It doesn't have to be, it could be anywhere in that process, right? But if it's not in your process, what's going to happen? You're not going to get it done. So at some point, you've got to build it into your process so that those reviews are getting done. So awesome. Thank you. All right. So the last pillar that we're going to talk about is community content. And this is where I feel like it's easy to forget, right? You are considered a local expert. They kind of want to look at you like that local person. So occasionally I'll see realtors. I have one in my network where every time a new restaurant opens, he's doing some sort of highlight on the new restaurant, a new school, a new business, whatever that looks like. If you want to be that expert in your community, you need to be looking at community content as well. You can also be highlighting service projects that you may be involved in, because realtors do a lot of amazing service in our community. Sometimes we don't share what we do, right? So it's about showing people that you're giving back to that community, right? Some of you have been on one of my training classes where I've talked about you can tandem an open house with a food drive and go into the entire neighborhood with grocery sacks, blank ones for like Harris Teeter bags, and do a food drive, right? And say, come to my open house this Sunday, right? But wow, well, you think those neighbors are going to want to come to the open house as they see you giving back to your community, right? It adds an element, a higher level element to what you're doing because you're looking beyond yourself. You're not a salesperson. You're a part of that community. So authority content, humanity content, social proof, and community content. So those are the 4 pillars of what you need to be talking about on social media. I kind of mentioned earlier, Faith is an angle, and I'm just going to say stewarding your influence, right? Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine, right? Proverbs 3:5-6 says, in all ways acknowledge him. So let your posts really spell out, right, who you are deep down. I have had multiple conversations with clients, and I know that they end up working with me, even though they may have been qualified somewhere else for their mortgage loan, because I was willing to put my faith out there. And then maybe I lost somebody, right? I could have because of that. It doesn't really matter, but I was able to connect on a completely different level with that client. And that made a meaningful experience for the client because we had a deeper connection through God. So don't be afraid to throw some of that out on your social media, throw a scripture quote up on Sunday, whatever kind of feels good for you, right? And so the last thing I want to hit on before we run out of time, because we've got just a little bit of time left, is really practical posting strategies. What is your rhythm? And you can get all kinds of advice. How often? What should I post? What do you think? Everybody has a different opinion. So my opinion is not the right opinion. It's just one that we're going to work with for today. Okay. And that is weekly rhythm. 3 value posts: market, tips, education. We just talked about the post, right? 3 value posts: market, tips, education. 2 personal posts: family, faith, your story. 1 community post, and 1 social proof post: testimony, closing, and review. I'll go through that one more time. 3 value posts: marketing, tips, education about real estate, right? 2 posts on your family, faith, your story. 1 community post, what's happening in the area, and 1 social proof post, a review, a testimonial from a client, a closing, whatever that looks like. However, you should spend about 10 minutes before you do any posts and see what's happening, reply to a few people, right? Celebrate wins, encourage somebody, share what's going on in your community. Just be engaged, right? The Dead Sea Scroll, about the Dead Sea Scroll is you have to be careful not to spend too much time, right? You can spend an hour on social media without even realizing it, and now you're not being purposeful about running your business. So this is all about reciprocity, right? Making the comments and engaging, and then putting up some posts on your weekly rhythm. It's just kind of keeping the momentum going, balancing that effort, and just trying to do the best that you can there. So remember, your index finger can scroll endlessly, or it can point people towards hope, clarity, and confidence. So social media is what we've been talking about today, and I'm going to go through briefly here. And I have this, I don't know if Brock, your team, put it up there, but I put my guide up. I don't know if Joanna sent that out on the group chat this morning. You might be on mute.
I was on mute. I'm trying to work on putting it up. Faye wasn't able to open it, but I'll double check on here to get it up here in a minute.
All right. So I'm just going to talk about
If not, we'll put it on the Facebook page too.
Okay, great. So each week I build out this handbook, if you will. And so I'm just going to go through the pointers on social media that come from the core training that I try to embody. So realtors must post on social media for presence. We know that. Lots of generations, especially the younger generations, are relying on social media, so it's imperative. So we talked about the post frequency, right? And we talked about what types of posts. What you're looking for are potential clients. You're looking for people that engage and say, I just moved into the area, or my sister's thinking about buying a house. So as you're engaging, you want that to be natural. If you're not paying attention to your social media, and I've been the fault here where somebody has sent me a note and said, hey, I want to do this. I need your help. And it's like 3 days later, I finally respond, right? So that's why you got to be in there every day for at least 10 minutes. But ideally, as a realtor that's building your business, or an experienced realtor, you want to get a goal of at least trying to get 5 referrals each year from social media, and work that up to 10 to 15 referrals per year. It won't happen automatically. It takes time, and you may even get leads that don't go anywhere, right? But it's just really being about intentional with your social media. It's the pointer finger for in terms of, how you run your business. It's all about pointing them in the right direction. Aha. There we go. So if you would scroll to the top, Brock, for me at first, all the way to the top. The picture didn't show up. So we'll scroll down to the bottom. My apology. Yeah, for some reason the picture didn't show up. We'll scroll down to the bottom then. Talked about the palm of the hand, the end. There we go, in yellow. Right, this is what we're talking about today. So these are just the general categories. Each one, we've been talking about the different parts of the hand in terms of how you can really, right, the hand that feeds you as a realtor. So next time when we're on next month, we're going to be talking about whales. What is a whale? I have no idea, Chris, right? What is a whale? It is going to be an influential person that sends you a lot of business. So we're going to talk about getting whales, defining what they are, and how those people can continue to help you grow your business. So I know we're just about out of time here, Brock. 8:43. Do you have anything else you want to add before we end our show here today?
No, I love this type of tactical type of stuff. We're going to put this, for those of you that want to get the show notes on what Chris said, the transcript, we'll have it on the Brock Zevans YouTube page that you can go to. I think Michelle doesn't realize she's not on mute. We'll also have it on the Facebook page. So you can go to our Facebook page. We will have the attachment as well with his Word document that you can use. I can say all that what he shared, these 4 pillars are very key ingredients, and you focus them on each of your posts and you do a rotation through that. And then you implement it in like carousels, use ChatGPT to help you create this content using his 4 pillars. I literally would copy paste what he did, put it into a chat, put it into a Claude, tell him its concepts, what you're trying to do with the CTA, a call to action, using what Chris said, and put it out there. And then when you get results, let Chris know, reach out to him, have a conversation, be like, hey man, this actually really worked. I was, because in those things, as a speaker, as a teacher, we want to hear your results. So reach out to him and tell him what happened, what took place, so that way he knows what's going on with it, because he wants to feel and feed off of your enthusiasm, because it does work. All you just got to do it consistently. So great show, Chris. I'll let you close us out, brother, to lead into Justine tomorrow.
No problem. So, well, first of all, it's an honor to serve you, Brock, and your entire community. Really, my role as a loan officer and really as a coach to a lot of the realtors that I serve is just about giving back to y'all. So if there's any topic that you need help with your business, I've been in a coaching program for many, many years, and really I'm just trying to add value to you, add value to Brock. So appreciate you listening today. Let's focus on social media this week. Stretch yourself with one concept, and then we'll see you back here tomorrow morning for morning motivation. Let's go, Brock. Thank y'all.